improve on that, you usually come with a whole different package. So I think now we're going to go back with something that's very similar. We got the same car, so we can kind of build off where we were a little bit more. So we'll iterate the new things that we've come up with the last few weeks and try to put it in there and see how it does with that. But we have a strong baseline to go back to.
Okay, so you have the same car. It won the race. Is there anything you can do to make it even better?
Of course. A race car is never perfect. I promise you that. As much as you always try, and I think that real good race car drivers are perfectionists, and it's never good enough. And you're always trying to find a little bit more and a little bit more here and there. So we're greedy. that's part of being an athlete or wanting to be the best at what you do.
And then finally, watching the Olympics, one of the things that strikes me is we always see the shots of the parents, and they always look so on edge or so proud, or they're crying or whatever, and we never really see that aspect of it in NASCAR at this level. What do your parents think of your success and being up in the Cup Series?
I think they have a good time with it. I hope they have fun with it. It's definitely there's a very select few of us that actually get to this level, and forget even winning at this level is really hard. So as a parent, I know my parents are proud of me, and they've helped me out so much in my career to get here. And just like any 95% of the athletes that make it to the Olympics or make it to NASCAR or make it to baseball or whatever, their family usually plays a pretty big role in that. So it's definitely you can't do this on your own. So you've done it with them your whole life, so it's cool to have them there when you make it here.
All right, best of luck this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. Our next question comes from Robert Drogi from BRD Broadcasting. Robert, please state your question.
Thank you. Joey, a lot of race fans always wonder, gee, how does a driver get involved with car racing? We've been asked that 100 times. Now, let me ask you something. When you were, I think you were 12 years old, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you did something that was really big time. You started racing legend cars. You went on to set a track record at Atlanta Motor Speedway where you had 14 consecutive wins. Man, that's big time. Was it at that time in your life that you said, well, I guess I'm going to stick with auto racing?
I don't think I ever had a moment that made me say I'm going to stick with auto racing. I think that was just always the game plan from the get-go for me. I wanted to be a race car driver since I was 6 years old. I was probably younger than that. I was a kid with all the little Matchbox cars, playing them around on the little carpet with the racetrack on it. That was me, and that's what I enjoy doing. Some kids go home and they like playing basketball, they like playing soccer, and I had a go-kart, I had a little yard cart, and I drove the thing around the yard all afternoon, and I had a blast. Yeah, even by myself, I just had a blast driving it, and so I was able to take that to the extreme, and going back to the family thing, that was something you can't do without that. So there was never a moment that I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, I'm going to keep going with it. It was just always that way, that's what I wanted to do, and I was going to do whatever it took.
Thanks for your answer, and pick up another 1 or 2 wins so you get into the chase.
I'm going to try. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Dwight Drum from Racing.com. Dwight, please state your question.
Thank you. Joey, right now, 12 different drivers have won in 20 races so far. Do you feel that that's going to stay that way? The same drivers are going to end up winning, or do you think a few of the drivers without wins are going to come along and even tighten the race up for the chase even more?
I think there's a few guys this year that haven't gotten a win that are probably going to get a win. I think the 24 is being one that definitely would probably get a win. He usually does at least a couple every year. So there's a few guys that haven't got a win yet this year that I would pretty much bank on they'd probably get a win at some point. So that's why I'm saying I'm not sure if 2 wins is going to be enough because so many guys have 1 win right now. You need to get 2 and some points or 3. So we got to pick it up a notch.
And that, would you say that it's real possible that it actually could come down to a small number of points, like just a few points will make a difference getting in or not getting in?
you look at how close the points are, from 17th to 12th, 11th is very close back there with all those guys with one win. So yes, points are super close, and it's going to come down to probably the last lap at Richmond.
How does that play in your mind? When you go into to a race, do you just take it race by race anyway? Or?
I think you got to be aggressive with it. If you think about it too much, you're going to not be up front where you need to be. I think that's one thing I've done this year has been more aggressive than I've been in the past. I've made mistakes with that, but it's trying to limit that. But at the same time, you got to go for it. It's you got to risk it to get the biscuit. So you got to go for it. You got to be aggressive on restarts to pass these cars because that's your shot. And sometimes it gets a little hairy out there and it's a little tricky, but you got to be you have calculated decisions, but aggressive decisions.
Thanks, Joey. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Brett Winningham from the Racing Wheel. Brett, please state your question.
Hey, Joey. My first question is, how much differently was it racing a Nationwide Series car at Indianapolis? And also, could you apply anything to a Nationwide Series from racing in the Sprint Cup Series, or did everyone have to learn new things?
Definitely the Nationwide cars at Indy, to answer your first question, was it was interesting. It was a lot different. Obviously you got a lot less horsepower, so you're driving in quite a bit harder. You're not using much brake at all. You're back to the gas way early. So you're asking a lot out of your car to turn a lot on gas with momentum, and we didn't hit it where we needed to be all weekend. We just couldn't hit the car where we wanted it, and but yes, you can. It did help that I had laps on that racetrack. When you jump into a Nationwide car there for the first time, you definitely have an advantage over the normal Nationwide regulars because you've been at that track and you have some experience. But at the same time, that place is definitely you need a really good car to run good at that place. It's definitely there's only one line around it, so it's definitely tricky to get that right. And as a driver, it is tricky to hit your line, but it's pretty simple to realize what the line is and where you need to be.
Okay, and my next question is, going Pocono this weekend, what are some of the things that goes through the driver's mind before a race, knowing that you won at the track back in June 10th?
Same things that go through your mind if you didn't win at that racetrack earlier. You have a game plan. You know what you got to do before the race. You go through your pit road speed. You clean your tires off. You get you know what you got to do. You try to kind of picture out what's going to happen on the restarts and who's around you and kind of what their tendencies are on restarts and try to take advantage of that, just like you do on any restart or any start of any race.